I made a video about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, talk about how people were being priced out of Bitcoin. And I have proof of it here today. The crazy thing that's happening right now, people are not being able to afford Bitcoin. And some parts of what make Bitcoin so valuable are only going to be left to the rich. I want to talk about that. I want to cover a lot of the stuff that's happening in today's market, though. Some crazy things that have happened with Ben Armstrong as well. We'll talk about a lot, though. So stay through to the end of the video. I might be making another video if there's more news today, but there's just a lot to cover right now. So if you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on that bell notification underneath the video. There are also going to be some links underneath the video to Margex where you can trade on leverage. I actually opened a trade and closed a trade over about an hour yesterday, making 24% profit. It's in the Patreon. You can go check it out. It was not, I don't want to say it's easy, right, to trade leverage, but there are just certain situations that are pretty easy to be able to determine, like there's a good chance that we're going to make money on this. And we did. Now, of course, you always have to make sure that you put in money that is not too much for you, like that you don't put all your crypto into a leverage exchange. The majority should be held on cold storage wallets, but you can make some nice returns from trading crypto. Neither of these have KYC or VPNs needed on Blowfin or Margex. We have a trading competition on Blowfin, and Margex is getting ready for one. So you want to sign up for both of these, get deposits in there, start trading, get used to it. And I also want to say thank you. Yesterday I talked about Crypt Moses. If you didn't see that video, I talked about a couple different things, but I want to give a shout out to Crypt Moses. He's a creator that is very, very successful in business. He just started making YouTube videos though recently. And while he does talk about some meme coins, he also talks about Bitcoin, and he's been around the business with large creators. I'm going to be shouting out a few more people here and there, and he's definitely one that you want to go watch. After I shouted him out, 200 people went and subscribed to his YouTube channel. I'll put a link to it again. Right? I just think he's a really nice guy. I got to spend a lot of time with him. He's very bright too. He's someone that you want to follow for this next market. So I'll put a link to him underneath the video as well. Now, I think we can get him up, by the way, to like 2.5 thousand. I think it's possible. If you didn't click it yesterday, go follow him. He was so excited too. He got 200 new people. People were commenting on his video, giving him suggestions. He was pumped up. I was with him when he found out about it. He's so excited. So let's keep that going. Let's keep up the good vibes. Now, as you can see, people are buying Bitcoin. I mean, this is just anecdotal a little bit because, I mean, you can look at all the wallets and you can see some people selling, some people buying, but the fact is a lot of people are trying to accumulate a lot. You can see 5,000 Bitcoin as of back in February. This wallet bought another 2,800, or they sent it to this wallet, I guess, but they probably bought and then sent it right away. So another 2,800 Bitcoin bought back in April, and then they just bought 5,000 more Bitcoin just yesterday. So they're buying huge amounts. This causes the price to go up pretty drastically. And it's good to see wallets start to accumulate, whales start to accumulate, and it's probably because of everything that's happening behind the scenes. Like, it literally seems like we are 95% chance of the spot Bitcoin ETF being approved. BlackRock filed a third amendment. They met with the SEC again. Like, they keep on updating these, and they're getting really in the weeds as to what they're doing. They're doing like cash creates versus in-kind, basically just different ways of how the ETF works, but they're getting really into the weeds, which signifies that they are very much on the same page as the SEC. They're getting really into the weeds, so it's probably going to get approved. Now, we also have just the general picture looking really good. We know that there's the Bitcoin halving coming up. We also know that the Fed is literally bringing up the fact that more cuts could be appropriate if inflation falls faster. So they're already like setting the groundwork to even lower rates faster than what they suggested maybe even a week ago. Same time yesterday, I talked about this marketing campaign with the most interesting man in the world. And this is a cool new meme that they have. This is from Bitwise. He told Satoshi to hodl Bitwise. Like, this is going to go viral, at least on Twitter. Among crypto people, they're going to get so much out of this. They're going to love all these different memes. This might be the new top meme picture for the next bull market. So that doesn't really matter as much. Like, the memes don't matter as much as the giant marketing budgets that are going to be put behind this. I talked about in yesterday's video, but there's going to be a lot of money thrown at these ads. Now, we also have news that possibly Michael Saylor is trying to orange pill Bezos. This came from page6.com, so I think like a tabloid. Seaside spies say Sanchez, Bezos, movie producer Brian Glazer, media mogul David Geffen, IAC honcho Barry Diller, and MicroStrategy's Michael Saylor were spotted at a beachside eatery. So possibly, I feel like Michael Saylor doesn't do anything besides just talk about Bitcoin, shill Bitcoin. So I don't know why he would be here unless he was trying to orange pill some people. They're trying to get some information or trying to figure something out. Now, I will say though, I made a video last week, 9 days ago, talk about how people will not be able to afford Bitcoin. And this isn't like, oh, it's going to become so expensive to buy 0.01 Bitcoin. It's that people are not going to be able to afford the self-sovereignty of Bitcoin. Like, people don't understand. As the network becomes more congested, people are willing to pay tips to get their transaction actually processed. And you can see that here. Isabella on Twitter is showing the network fee, $161. Like, people will be able to buy Bitcoin. No matter what the price is, they're going to be able to buy a Satoshi. Even if Bitcoin's $100 million, right? One Bitcoin's $100 million, which is nuts to think about. A Satoshi is $1, right? And in that scenario, inflation is probably massive. So they're going to be able to afford a Satoshi, but can they afford self-sovereignty? I don't think so. You can already see network fees go up. We can already see that countries are looking at Bitcoin. Large companies are looking at Bitcoin. There's only so much block space. And while some people will point to the Lightning Network, the Lightning Network's not perfect. Some people don't want to use the Lightning Network. So I'm not saying not to buy Bitcoin, right? But I'm saying that self-sovereignty is going to be very expensive one day. If you want to have transactions confirmed on the Bitcoin network, especially with ordinals, I talked about that a little bit yesterday, how crazy the fees are getting. You're going to have to pay a lot of money, right? Especially in dollar terms. So for a lot of people, they'll just keep their Bitcoin on exchanges. They'll just keep it on Coinbase, Binance, whatever. So there aren't large transaction fees. They'll also just buy these ETFs. We've talked about so many times, people just buy the ETFs and then just chill. They don't have to worry about transaction fees because this can eat a lot into your profitability on a trade. And you have to realize that this isn't necessarily a bad thing that some people are getting priced out of Bitcoin transactions. The reason I say that is because there are wallets that just don't have enough Bitcoin to even make it worth sending Bitcoin. Like, let's say you have 0.01 Bitcoin. That's $400, $420. There are a lot of wallets that have this amount of Bitcoin or less. Like most of the wallets, almost 90% of the wallets have less than 0.1 Bitcoin. Do you want to pay a $160 fee to move $400 worth of Bitcoin so you get, $260 left? No, you don't want to do that. So a lot of Bitcoin, hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin are just locked up and it's not even worth moving at this point, right? So just keep that in mind that even though some people are priced out making transactions, that can actually be good for Bitcoin holders that have a large amount of Bitcoin because it just locks up even more of the supply, which is something that a lot of people don't think about. There will be other cryptos that are much better for transactions. Like you scroll down, Solana, Avalanche, Polygon. Those will be the ways that people get into crypto and actually record large amounts of transactions. They're not going to use Bitcoin for doing a lot of things in crypto. Like Bitcoin is going to be a store of value, a hedge against the US dollar. I'd say timeless technology. It has scarcity, like all those properties, but it's not like you're going to want to transact 10 times a day in Bitcoin, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts though underneath the video. Let's see if there's any other news. Honestly, there's a lot to cover. There's a lot to think about, but there haven't been a ton of big announcements, I'd say, from companies over the last 24 hours. But we do have some reports coming out. We have people giving their news on applications. We also have like ARK Invest giving their 2024 ideas, I believe. And then Masari also talking about their thesis for 2024. So a lot of people kind of producing content for the next year, but keep in mind the holidays are coming, so it might be a little bit of a slowdown in terms of news. I think there's going to be no slowdown, though, in excitement, because as we get closer and closer to January, we get closer and closer to the new ETF, we get closer and closer to the Bitcoin halving. People get done with their end of year, and maybe they want to start investing into new assets. We also had FASB accounting rule changes happen recently, so companies will probably start buying Bitcoin. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video, though. I realize I talked about some stuff that I've talked about before, but I need to reiterate, it's happening. Like, people are being priced out of Bitcoin right now, at least some of the aspects that are so valuable about Bitcoin. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not going to be worth having Bitcoin, but it does mean that you want to be earlier on this train instead of later. I almost forgot that I mentioned that we would be talking about Ben Armstrong. I even started to upload the video. Then I remembered this. If you haven't seen, Ben Armstrong has been on a streak recently, basically saying that he was fighting with George recently, even though George is helping him out with a bunch of stuff. He's going after Rand Neuner from Crypto Banter. He seems a little bit unhinged, talking about, like, I don't even want to say this out loud. If you're just listening, you're not going to know. But take a look at the screen. Like, talking about these kinds of rings in Thailand with different crypto influencers, he's got to be on something. I'm not sure. Just be careful of people out there that are so unhinged. I would just not pay attention to them too much. Because they might lead you astray. They might try to rug pull you or something. It's just crazy what's happening there. But just be careful out there. There's so much going on. You don't want to miss this next bull run for something stupid like listening to the wrong people. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope the screen isn't too laggy. Now that I look at it, it looks a little bit laggy, but that's okay. We'll fix it for next time. Thank you so much. Check out Moses, Crypto Moses, down in the comments section and in the description. Check out the links to Margex and also to Blowfin. And if you want to know what I'm buying and selling, if you want to see the trades that I'm making, you can check out the link to the Patreon. By the way, there's something big coming in the next week that you're going to want to be part of too. Just dropping that little hint, but be on the lookout for something that's going to give you access to a lot of information that people don't have, retail investors don't have. So be on the lookout for that. I'll talk about it on the channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.